Okay. Oh, so they're just recording this whole. Okay, so what's gonna happen? It looks like is it's gonna record it and then it'll be on your cloud. So you'll just have to you can just
But
WeTransfer it to
I
me.
thought you were going to record. Jai said you could record and it will go on your cloud. So I could stop recording now.
No,
No, don't do that. Don't do
no,
that.
don't do that. No.
We'll have to restart the meeting.
Yeah. So if it says yeah, if it's recording right now, it'll be on your cloud, and all you got to do, you can just WeTransfer me
Send
a
it to
file.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just send it to me,
All right.
and I can edit it.
It's
All right.
recording. So
All
we're
right.
ready and
All
we're
right, here we
here.
go. Yeah. So what is this? Episode 14? I think so. Yeah, episode 14. Been a while, but yeah. Welcome back to the Orange and Blue Crew with myself, Jai, and Reek. It has been a minute, I'm aware, but it was the summertime. We had some things to take care of. Specifically myself. I'm not as established as these two fine gentlemen at the moment, but we're getting there. We're getting there. But the Knicks have been active. They gave Tibbs, I believe, an extension. Of course, the Jalen Brunson contract was a big deal. You know, Mikal Bridges over the offseason, OG re-signed. Those are just some of the things that happened. But as of today, and this is we're recording this on Thursday, October 3rd, there has been a massive trade that has gone down within the past week. One that is a bit polarizing within the Knicks community. I don't know how I feel like I don't feel like we've talked about it amongst ourselves too much. So this will actually be the first time we'll be able to have a discussion around it, which I'm excited for because I want to know what you guys think of the trade. But of
Fresh.
course, that trade that I'm yeah, and of course the trade I'm speaking of is the Knicks and Timberwolves agreeing to a trade where the Knicks receive this is the full trade. Now that we have all the details, the Knicks receive Cat, Carl Anthony Towns, and James Najee, and the Knicks and the Timberwolves receive Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, Charlie Brown Jr., Daquan Jeffries, Dwayne Washington Jr., a protected first round pick, and 2 second-round picks. This went down right at the end of September. And at least for me, was pretty blindsiding. I didn't expect it. You know, obviously the news of Mitchell Robinson's health dropped. So the discussion among Knicks fans definitely became, well, you know, what are we going to do at the center position? Like, are we going to need to find someone to fill the void? What do we do? Who do we go get? And of course, given that Isaiah Hartenstein is no longer with the Knicks, we're pretty thin at center. And Julius's health at the start of the season, at least, was also slightly in question. So there were a bunch of question marks as far as the front court for the Knicks going into the season. And then Leon drops his bomb on us. We can't say Woj bombs anymore because he retired. Shout out to Adrian Wojnarowski. But yeah, Leon dropped this bomb on us, and it's a bit polarizing. So I'll let you guys give your thoughts first. I have some strong thoughts of my own, but I'll let you guys go first, and just we'll start with you, Jai. Just what was I mean? First of all, considering just the timing of this, because it was very random, and it happened
Yeah.
like I think actually it was last Friday. Yeah, last Friday. I know me personally, I was up in Cedar Grove at a fighting game tournament. I've been going to this Mortal Kombat tournaments on every Friday. It's pretty fun. And I was like sitting playing, and my phone just kept vibrating, keep vibrating. I'm like, yo, someone's blowing my phone up, but I was in the middle of playing, so I wasn't paying attention. And then someone who was next to me just shows me his phone. He said, I think the Knicks just got Carl Anthony Towns. I'm like, what? And then I checked my phone, and of course, everyone's blowing me up about it. So, Jai, I mean, what was your reaction? Where were you when it happened? And then just your initial thoughts and what you think overall about the trade.
Well, I just finished working all day, and I was exhausted. So I was just, laying in my bed as it happened. I was actually just finished talking to my mom and dad. It was later in the night. I just finished talking to my mom and dad before I was gonna go to bed. Um, and then as soon as I touched the bed, I was like, Dad. I came, I came right back in and I said, well, at first it was just that the Knicks were talking about getting Cat. So I was like, before we even saw who were giving up, I was like, it looks like they traded Randall. So and talk about being blindsided. I mean, like I was just looking at the Knicks transaction history because we were looking for a center, and I was like, when does Leon normally operate? What did we do last year? And we had a transaction. late September, which I didn't remember. I don't remember that us dealing that late. I don't remember what it was, but we had a transaction late September, and I was like, if they were to do something, it would be this week or, something like that. And sure enough, I was even arguing with people on Twitter like, oh, they're not trading Randle until at least the deadline. And I mean, I had to hit that send on that tweet, and then 2 minutes later, the Shams thing came through. So yeah, I mean, are we talking about thoughts now? Or are we talking about,
Yeah. So yeah, where were you? And then just, your thoughts on just the transaction. And now that we know the full details, just everything that you think about the trade.
Yeah, just basically, I guess we'll talk about Randle as a player later, but my thoughts about the trade, just like at first I'm looking at it and I have the same feeling as when we got OG, which was, it felt like a bad dream right away, because we gave up. I wasn't a huge fan of RJ Barrett, and but I loved Emmanuel quickly. And I thought I had funny, like, again, I just talked to my dad the day before we were watching the Knicks game. They're not giving up quickly. That's what I said. They're never giving up quickly. He's a Knick. I think I said those exact words. The next day he was shipped off. So, here, seeing this news, I had that bad dream feeling, and like, there's no way that we did this. And OG worked out great. Much better than I could have ever expected. But it still stings losing quickly, but that's whatever. It wasn't going to work out. This one doesn't seem like the same calculated Leon Rose move to me. Tibbs said something today that I'll get into later that also made me think that it's not something that they were really going for as much as they said, or for as long as they said that they were going for it. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
Reek, same to you. Just where were you? What were you doing? Well, I guess
Goga Batadze is going to sit out. He's got 3 fouls.
Good player in Indiana for all those years too.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. First of all, I was in my
having a big first half
after having worked all day.
The 3-time All-Star, making a strong case for another All-Star bid.
Towns has the last 10 for Minnesota. Oh, he's firing from the loop.
I was
Towns driving over the head pass.
the first thing on my mind is
spectacular to Naz Reid.
They've officially broken the Indiana Pacers here in the second half.
A better player,
just a matter of time.
And he provides us something that we
have officially gone.
I love Towns at the top of the floor when they're looking to be aggressive to get them 3-point shots.
Oh, over the head pass. And over the head flush.
And we also knew,
so it's Cat's third assist to Rudy. He's got one to hand. But all these looks to Rudy have been for dunks. I mean, it's been high percentage shots. Carl creating shots for Rudy.
Watched by Daniel. Gonna drive to the rim, puts it up window for 2. Wolves on top. 5.2 to go.
Isolation at the middle of the floor like that. He's just as good going left as he is going right. And he does a great job of putting the brakes on that time.
I wasn't excited.
And they
Beats the shot clock.
And you're right.
Window.
And then to add a little bit of salt, vinegar.
This is a tough horse
alcohol
shot.
To the wound.
Overshadowed by the 48 for Towns. Towns looking for a 50-burger. Foul on Carl. Foul on Carl Anthony Towns.
And
I do not want to see him bombing. I was not.
Alexander Walker stops. Oh, good pass. Towns. The reverse slam. 15 points in this ball game.
I was very disappointed. Just because I can't see how.
Great pass by Kyle that time to a cutting Carl Anthony Towns.
Towns. Pull up again and hits again.
But it gives us another hole. We still have
with Williams all over him. Towns is 7 for 10, 18 points, 7 boards, 3 assists in this first half.
I don't understand. I don't understand the makeup of the team at this point.
Towns to the bucket, and a new career
We have a Knicks
high.
podcast, so I have
Midway
to be
mark of
all
this second
stuff
quarter.
went through my mind in the first
Marshall
hour,
attacking over to Cody
right?
Zeller,
Because
who
I
lost
just was
it.
not happy about it. And right now, the
Towns
is still out. I'm a Knicks fan.
down the
I wanted
lane,
to.
barreling
I believe
in
it
and
can
scoring.
work. But my initial reaction was that I wasn't.
Well, I don't know if
I don't think
it's the
he
night
did.
or it's the position.
Towns, 32.
Started. He gave us everything he
pointed at.
could, and he didn't give him the opportunity to
Putting Miles
redeem
Bridges in the
himself as a
poster
player.
too. I like
You
that.
give him that chance. Give him,
Again,
I
learning
think
to
give him
win
a chance to start it off.
It's something that you
hold
can
on
only
to
do
this cat
through
because
experience.
it's not going
Her
to.
fights through the
No
screen,
other
but
team
Towns
is
gets a good
giving
look
you,
and nails the three.
valuable players for
Two-point
$60
lead,
million
timeout, Pels.
on the cap. You can wait on this
Towns.
team. You can see how he starts off.
Gonna drive
If he starts
past
off
Reek,
bad, he
puts
has a
it
bad
up
shot,
and
whatever,
through.
You make it deep. That's all. I'm gonna let you go deep, but initial reaction, disappointment.
New York with
I'm
8
gonna
points
refrain
off of 4
of the
Minnesota
Knicks
turnovers.
calling him-
Towns
calling Cat
down the
his name
lane,
that
puts it up
I
and
initially
in,
was thinking.
plus the foul. Driving to the rim.
He just got to take a little bit extra time now, and that's what he's doing. He did it at the end of game situation against
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
And I don't care.
Give it to him.
I'm not one of those guys. You give away a first round. I don't care.
Towns
Dante
backing
Dante
down
goes
Collins,
and
turns
ran.
inside, puts it up and through, plus the foul.
Post feet speed cut.
I'm in the same boat with you.
Clear out the
Like I
side
said,
for him, and that's what I'm telling about John. Hey, John Collins cannot guard Karl Anthony Towns in a low post.
Towns working on the reigning defensive player of the year. Bully ball.
Towns, so good, putting the ball on the deck. He did a nice job of being physical without running over JJ that time. Still gets the right hand.
Williams goes down. Towns finds Alexander Walker. Got a trade. Brown the board.
To see that we traded Randle.
Towns the hammer.
That's how you do it.
Starting unit with one exception. You get Naz Reid instead of Alexander Walker in the game.
And I know sports is a business, and I know these
Carl
organizations-
Anthony Towns.
There was no rotation from the other side. Just watch this. You're not going to see. Too late. Too late. He's already past it. You have to see that.
I think that sometimes in sports,
Rough shooting start. Conley took a hit. Swat. Towns big block. In this third quarter, Alexander Walker. Over to Towns, get out the way! Big time hammer plus the foul.
Side to the left corner, they just missed a shot. Well, how about this one? The drop down and Karl Anthony Towns does the rest. Foul on Aldama.
But
Edwards still shaking off the rust. He's 2 for 13 tonight. Towns, tough face, swish, goal.
Chris Finch has really shortened Minnesota's bench in this game. Wow.
Earthquake by 11.
That's a flop by Russell Westbrook, man. Some of those playing games, the ones that they were playing in Indiana, they've been raising the roof there. And some of the best basketball, loudest basketball, Reggie Miller days and Anthony Towns.
what happened?
So small ball, tallest player on the floor for Charlotte is Brandon Miller at 6'9". How about Towns? 19 advantage. Towns is 6.
Kyle that time and Nas.
Towns, the discard, the layup, and the foul.
Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards finished the month.
14-4 run. Pelicans are the best second quarter team in the NBA in terms of point differential. Towns, wild shot off glass for 2.
Edwards dancing on green from the free throw line. Little off-balance step back. Towns offensive rebound. Rockets have been really hurt on the glass, and there's slow-mo for the slam-o. Second season with Minnesota. Good addition. contribution to this team. Kyle Anderson with the punch there on Jabari Smith Jr. Now 48 in the paint.
Franz Wagner, you know, the experience he had in FIBA.
Wow, those were two giant steps from Karl Anthony Towns. He covered a lot of ground.
On the drive through contact, count it, and put him on the line.
Isolate Towns in the center of the floor. Guarding him with Jason Tatum. He just blows right past him, goes right into the chest of Al Horford and finishing.
Edwards gives it up to Towns for three. Boom!
Being silent in the fourth quarter, Towns has come here into overtime.
The other night to the Thunder by 62.
Towns through contact, bucket and the foul.
He's a national broadcaster in my mind.
He's one of the best.
He was talking about how the Thunder just a couple of years ago in 2021.
So he couldn't have been too disgruntled getting back to
some early growing pains in Portland.
It's never easy when you play for a team that's
and then the next day after he does that,
team foul.
I don't like it. I don't like it. You know, I know I could do
yeah, man. Decisive move, take it, spin.
Actually watch Julius Randle. And
Jabari Walker just happened to be a bystander.
He was 14-3 in January. And Julius Randle was
Right now, the Wolves are up by 12. Towns, the lob! Rudy Gobert has caught the most alley-oops in the NBA this season.
A great passer, a great thief. G.G. Jackson triple, way off on that shot. Anderson the rebound. Karl Anthony Towns at the other end, dropping the anvil. And it's the biggest lead of the night for the Timberwolves, who trailed earlier by 13 on TNT.
Do that every time you get screened if you wanted to. And you know, I have to say, the smart players, like Mike Conley included, does that a lot.
Oh, get that out of there!
I mean, get that weak stuff out of here, baby. With Dort falling down, Towns packs it. He's never under duress.
Take that with you. Edwards attacking the pull-up off glass. No, Anderson a great rebound. Conley over to Towns, got the three. Hill and Devin Booker waiting on them. But in the meantime, you have to come out of Chase Center with the W.
Kyle Anderson goes in and digs that rebound out. Mike Conley smartly rotates to Towns, who is wide open, and cat knocks it down the emotion.
Towns, pump fake, driving on Saric, gets the bucket, plus the foul.
Well, it's really all about his ability to shoot the three. Because of his ability to shoot the three, when he pump fakes, you have to honor it.
1 minute to go in the third. This is a matchup Towns should take advantage of. The flush from Towns. Close the third quarter. Towns. Something that we haven't seen in 32 years. Oh, it was Towns. Was it Gobert? No.
He's in this corner over here. It looks like Rudy Gobert mid-pick for the block.
Gobert thought it was Conley the board. Porzingis hits the deck again. Wolves momentarily have numbers. The lob. Reach back, big fella.
Bridges has been good guy to the team.
First half.
For 5 years.
Wolves are stuck with it.
That we talk about Randle in his play.
The lob was not easy to keep.
McDaniel's in foul trouble. That's why he's not on the floor.
In my opinion, with three
the turnover.
It was not the same
racing the other end.
Selected as a all-star every single night. So to question his fit, it just
Active hands. Mike Conley hit it initially, then Karl got it.
So continue.
There's been a lid on the basket on the offensive end. Bounce pass. Edwards finishing.
Jaden's right on it. Karl Anthony Towns bounce passes it to a cutting Anthony Edwards.
Combo guard. He can handle it. McLaughlin can handle it. Towns recognized he had the smaller defender, and he goes right to the cup.
Take a look at this. Off the switch, Karl Anthony Towns going right at Smith Jr. and then slicing up. You got Cam Thomas coming from under.
59-57. Towns throws it up. Gobert throws it down.
Towns putting the ball on the deck, just throwing it over the top to Rudy to see the length. I mean, Chet Holmgren.
Edwards in the corner. McDaniels can't hit. Towns deflects it. And saved by Conley. Back to Towns, who puts up the three. It's good. Mike Conley with a great hustle play. And Towns answers with a three.
Shea the one now defending Edwards. Towns nearly had it swiped on the backside by J-Lo. Towns spins, dumps it off. Gobert got it up over the top of Holmgren.
Really been giving Minnesota the inside and outside attack. Getting to the rim and effective from outside the arc.
Towns and one.
He wanted a big payday because the NBA contracts had gone up. He wanted a big payday to finish his career.
Such a strong move. The efficiency of Towns' footwork, whether it's the decision making.
The Seattle Supersonics.
Now it's Towns. Steps through the defense, is fouled, and Karl Lane is waving it off. He's going to talk with James Williams. Yes.
Immediately following this,
score the basket.
Trying to front down low.
That we had to eat.
Just throw it over the top. Towns and Matthew comes as the low man to try to help him double team. They've been double teaming Karl all night long. Nikhil ever do a great job of avoiding screens. He just avoids the context. So does Mike.
Oh, he's a pickpocket. Ahead to Alexander Walker. Behind the back. Oh, a highlight. Towns the finish.
Defensive play is better. I mean, what Nikhil's doing or what Mike's doing. And then Rudy and Karl are just protecting the rim. I really feel
Towns in attack mode again. Flips it up and through. He has 29.
You're still missing.
Creates a lot of open corner threes for his teammates in ball screen action.
And they're calling a foul. Right under there.
It's good looking for KP. That was fun. KP's legs was like Twix. He's like, I knew he was going to get broken in the post, but we don't need that in this offense. And if Tom Thibodeau, Karl Anthony Towns to me is a better replacement for Isaiah Hartenstein. If you're selling me that, okay, that's fine. And he can improve on what Isaiah did. But I'm not sold on his defense. I don't know what he can do defensively. And my last thing is, for the past 5 years, Karl Anthony Towns has missed 20. He's played 29 games, 35 games, and I believe 50 games out of a possible 82 in 3 of the last 5 seasons. Julius Randle had an injury in the playoffs, missed last season, or a majority of last season, but prior to that, you could count on Julius Randle every night for 40 minutes a game. And he's not missing. He's not missing time. I don't understand what you're giving me now. And you are at the first apron. So I can't really visualize at this point what we're getting back in return. I'm really nervous for the beginning of the season right now.
Yeah. Jai, I'm wondering that you mentioned first apron there, Reek. Jai, I don't know if you've kind of been more of the, you have kind of your head wrapped around the financials. I mean, do you think that was financials a part of this?
A part of moving contracts? Absolutely not. The contracts that we had with Randle and with DiVincenzo, Randle had a player option next year. Dante, I think we signed Dante to a 2-year deal.
No, he got a 4-year deal at $12 million.
$12 million. Yeah. So as far as financials goes for us, we could have made it work in the future, signing back Randle, seeing what they just did to make this trade work. We could have made it work to sign back Randle to the team, next season or the season after. But as far as money goes, I will say right now, how they made the money work. They thought about this trade from a financial perspective first and foremost. We're under the second apron. Or we're not within the second apron, and that allows us to right now, the nucleus of this team, for the next 5 years, it's possible for us to re-sign all of these players that we have in our starting five. So Jalen Brunson, who's already on the big contract, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns can all remain a Knick through the 2029 season. So they thought about it from that perspective. I don't think that they made the trade because they didn't think that they were going to be able to handle the financials that they already had on the book.
See, so it just adds more fuel to my fire of I can't understand why this happened. You know, I mean, we got to live with it now. You kind of said, Reek, do you really believe that this trade changes what this season could be? I mean, we were over on here talking about, you know, championship or bust damn near, you know, not too long ago. But now you mentioned throwaway season, and I'm wondering, do you really believe that this could end up being a lost year?
Yeah, because I think what I mean by throwaway season is you're going to have to take the first 2 months of the season to find out what you have. So if you on paper, we're a top 4 seed, right? Prior to this trade, we're challenging for finishing 1 or 2, right? So now you have to determine what shooting you have. Is Mikal Bridges that good of a shooter? As a number 1, not really. He's not better than Dante DiVincenzo. In this offense, what is he supposed to be? He's supposed to be a third option like he was out in Phoenix. No, he was he was a second option in Phoenix, wasn't he? What was he in Phoenix? Third,
he was
right?
like third, some nights fourth.
Right, because there was
Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris Paul. They had Booker and Ayton. So really, he was really maybe the fourth option.
Yeah, and so now that's what I mean by a throwaway season. When one thing that also really sort of shook me up, Shumpert, I don't think he's really that smart. He gave up on Tiana Taylor, which
They didn't give up on Tiana Taylor. I think he cheated on Tiana Taylor, but that's a story for another.
That's what I mean. Like, how do you?
It's worse than giving up on her. He destroyed his family.
He just blew it. He just, so. And
if Shumpert's watching, I mean it, and I'll say it again to your face.
That's right. That was a dumbass move. So I don't know how smart he is, but I do know that he's a champion in the NBA. And he's played on some pretty good teams that were that overachieved, I think. And one thing that he said the other night was, he said that the Knicks, I don't see how it really moves the needle that they got Karl Anthony Towns, because if I'm in the playoffs and I need a bucket and I need somebody to go one-on-one to get me a basket, which I can't set my defense for, I am not afraid of Karl Anthony Towns. I'm going to put a taller, bigger defender on Brunson, and I'm going to send another guy over at Karl Anthony Towns to get the ball out of his hands, and I'm going to take my chances with that. And ultimately, what you want at the end of the season is I need a guy that can get me a bucket when defenses are set and they know what we're doing all series. I think Brunson can do that, but Brunson is my size. And for all people who don't know, I am a 5'10", and 2 and some change. And Brunson and me are pretty much the same size, except his head. His head is a lot bigger than mine.
Okay, Josh Hart.
But again, in the playoffs, I don't see it. I'm not afraid of Karl Anthony Towns in the playoffs.
Well, one thing I'll say, Shumpert did not say that. Shumpert was including Jalen Brunson in his. He said the Knicks don't have a guy that at the end of a game that he's afraid of, that at the end of the game can get you a bucket, which is just unequivocally false when it comes to.
But I think he made the qualifying statement of the defensive scheme he would have against Brunson. and he was
But
saying
that
that.
hasn't. I mean, they had Kelly Oubre, Nick Batum against Brunson. It
You're
worked
right.
for 2 games, and then down the stretch when it counted,
Yeah.
it didn't ever.
I believe in Brunson, but he don't believe in Brunson.
Yeah. Well, and he got destroyed for that. And then Alan Hahn tried to defend him, and Alan Hahn got destroyed for that too. So, I will say, I think what I'm finding now is that I'm a little bit higher on Cat than most people, because and Bridges maybe, because I saw Mikal Bridges was a statistical anomaly when he first got traded away from Phoenix and played with the Nets during the second half of that season, where they went 500, but they're still able to make the playoffs. When he was motivated, when he had something to prove. I don't think that judging him based off that last season in Brooklyn is any indication of the type of player that Bridges is. He was absolutely phenomenal when he was playing with fire in Brooklyn. He averaged like 24, 25 points for 20, 30 games. So he played absolutely phenomenal. He shot out of this world. He still, even on a down year, shot 37% from 3. As far as shooting goes, you can't deny Cat's ability to shoot the 3 and shoot difficult shots. He's not he shoots 37% from the field, but it's not just an open in the corner look, that he's getting every time. Cat is taking and making some difficult shots. So you have to sort of utilize that, not to the degree that Minnesota was. I watched Cat a lot in the playoffs. My roommate was a Timberwolves fan. So I got to see him play in the playoffs. He takes a lot of frustrating shots. If I remember correctly, if I'm looking back at the playoffs, Brunson frustrated me sometimes down the stretch at the end of the regular season and in the playoffs, the shots that he took. And that's just his age. That's just honestly where they are age-wise. And Cat's role wasn't really clear in Minnesota yet, because of the rise of Anthony Edwards. So when it comes down to Cat in the playoffs at the end of games, he got into foul trouble a lot in Minnesota, which sort of prevented him from being in the game consistently in the fourth quarter. We've seen Tibbs clean it up with Hartenstein, with Mitt.
Yep.
So that's not really something to cry about, but he was phenomenal in stretches in the playoffs against the most formidable player in the league when it comes to Nikola Jokic. And he was that defensive matchup. It wasn't Rudy Gobert. It was Karl Anthony Towns. So if I'm looking at these two players, Bridges and Towns, and I'm looking at when they play with fire, when they have something to prove, how do they play? Because that's the same way if you look at Jalen Brunson when he played on the Dallas Mavericks. You can't judge him for the whole time he was on the Mavericks. The stats weren't that impressive. But if you look at when Luka Doncic was down and they had to play against the Utah Jazz, look at those performances Brunson put up when there was fire, when he has something to prove. So if you look at Bridges and you look at Towns under the same light, you get to see a lot. You get to see a lot that you wouldn't necessarily think. So I'm a little bit higher on it, but I'm still like my dad said, it's going to be a slow start. I'd love to be wrong. It's going to be a slow start because this team has never played together. It's just simple basketball.
Yeah. I will say, and this is just my final thing before we move on to our last little segment, which is, and you kind of hit it there, Jai, where Cat could come over here and ascend. He could average 25, 26 points a game, and then everything that we've been talking about as far as why do you make the trade, we could all just be sitting here eating crow in the next 3 months.
I love it.
I'd be happy about it, but it's just as of right now, I can only go by what I've seen, not necessarily what have you done for me lately, but I haven't seen Cat be a consistent winning player on a winning team, right? Because his best years in the NBA are probably within his first 3 or 4, where the Timberwolves had no expectations and they were terrible. And, Cat's picking up huge numbers on a really bad team. Since getting Anthony Edwards and Cat, he may have been hurt, but the Timberwolves were so bad one year, they got the number 1 pick. Cat was on that team. So, that's neither here nor there. But this could set up for a Cat, maybe
resurgence,
reinvigoration, resurgence, and maybe, being back with Tibbs, a coach he's familiar with, who, maybe when he was younger in Minnesota, he and Tibbs, maybe it was tougher for him and Tibbs to see eye to eye because he's a younger player, and Tibbs was who he was then. But I think Tibbs has grown since then as a coach. I'd like to wager that, hey, maybe Cat has grown and can continue to grow as a player as well, and maybe take that leap, and then, hey, maybe then this isn't a throwaway year, and maybe we're right back where we expected ourselves to be. But of course, that will remain to be seen. But before we get out of here, because, I just wanted to talk about the trade today before we, over the next coming weeks, just talk more about just, our vision for the Knicks and, what we have going for us as opposed to what has left us. I do want to pay one last homage to Julius Randle. And if you don't mind, just give me your favorite Randle moment. I can start because I already know mine. It's the Heat game winner for me.
Oh, you stole mine.
That is because I think he might have had 38 or something, or 40. Like he had a couple of those games where, and this was not this past season, but the season before, right? And he would have games, and this is when he was still kind of shooting threes, and he'd have those games where if he made that first three, he could make 6, 7. And that was one of those games. And it was ugly. It was such a Julius Randle game-winning shot. Like, almost lost the ball, I think twice. Somehow got it back clean enough to take a step back over a defender and cast a three from the wing. Like, that was awesome. And you guys know me, I'm a big Randle fan. That was by far my favorite Randle moment. But since you said that that was yours, I'll mention another one, and this one's kind of on the funnier side. So this was actually a preseason game, I think it was 2 years ago, where we played Charlotte, and Tibbs was playing like everybody. Like, Charlotte was kind of doing the whole preseason thing, but Tibbs was playing everybody. Like, Randle and all them were playing to win. And I'm pretty sure Julius came down, hit a game-winning floater in a preseason game, was talking crazy, was getting the crowd high. I'm like, yo, this is a preseason game. But it kind of set the tone for what Julius is. Like, he plays hard all the time. Like you say, he's not gonna miss time. He gave everything to New York, and I'm definitely gonna miss him. And I just I expect him to keep having success, because I think he really came into his own as a player last year. So I would expect him to continue getting better. And honestly, people think that it's a bad fit for him in Minnesota. If anything, I think that's exactly what Minnesota needed. Another guy who can create a shot inside, so I think, he'll do his thing in Minnesota. Dante will be big for Minnesota as well. Another 3-point shooter. They needed some shooting in the playoffs. They just got a guy who, we saw what he did for us. So
straight in
Reek, I'll let you give us a Randle moment.
All right. Well, I don't know that you guys are younger and your memories are much sharper, so I'd had to have done some research. But I just like what I liked about Randle is we talk really quickly about how much he has done over the time that he was here. But what I really liked was when he was coming out and starting games and leading the league in first quarter minutes and just straight destroying people, when he had to do everything. He had to bring the ball up. He had to start the offense. He had to play the offense down to the shot clock. And then he'd get the ball back at the final 7 seconds of the shot clock. And we were starting to win, and we started to win games with this guy doing all that. You had RJ Barrett out there. You had Quickly out there. You had all these guys. Randle was doing absolutely everything. I hadn't seen a single player play on a winning basketball team, because we made the playoffs. So that makes us a winning basketball team, when he had that big of a responsibility for the team. And people were talking about he was a ball hog. You literally had Alec Burks playing the point guard. You had Elfrid Payton out there. This guy was bringing the ball up, starting the offense, getting the ball back at the final 7 seconds, and scoring. And we were winning games.
King of the grenade. He was the king of the grenade.
Come on, man. That to me was the epitome of what he did for this franchise when there was nobody else out there. I mean, Elfrid Payton was our starting point. Elfrid Payton was our starting point guy. Guy, go.
If you ever come across this, Elfrid, we still love you though, because you were our point
you and
guard.
Nick. Once a Nick, always a Nick.
Once a Nick, always a Nick.
You know.
Me with Randle, I was a huge Julius Randle fan, and something in my spirit told me not to buy a Julius Randle jersey this last summer. I'm not gonna say I'm some sort of prophet, but I'm glad that I didn't pull the trigger on that. Yeah, I have a really tricky relationship with basketball. There was definitely a moment there where I wasn't paying attention as much. But you know, when basketball came back to me and when that love started to come back was, you know, it was like March of 2020, and then of course the season shut down. But then, you know, the Knicks weren't in the bubble, so there's really no Knicks to look at. And then as, you know, the Knicks started to come back around, you know, hired Tibbs, you know, we signed back Elfrid Payton. Everybody was mad about that. Different things go around. And a big question mark, they're trying to trade Julius Randle for Gordon Hayward and Russell Westbrook. And, you know, just because I hadn't seen that much of the 2019-2020 season, I was like, oh, yeah, I guess we have to trade Randle. Everybody says he sucks. And then in that, you know, those first few games, I'm like, they're like, oh, he's getting lucky. He's gonna do the spin move turnover thing again, and it never came. And that season was phenomenal. I was right down here. It was my first year at Rutgers, was fully online, and I watched every game in the basement where I'm sitting right now. So yeah, that was just, I just feel like Randle was a big part of getting the Knicks back to where they are now. For the first time in my life, where the Knicks are just a perennial playoff team and just a great team all around, great program. So yeah, my Knicks Julius Randle moment really comes with a couple of days before he got injured during Rivals Week when we were in Brooklyn. Because I'm not going to pick the Heat game. That's everybody's favorite Julius Randle moment. But we were in Brooklyn, and there's just this one play that everybody's been playing still. You no matter if you love Randle or not. Just in transition, he makes they're on the other end. Is OG's there? The ball, it bounces out of bounds. It really does. They didn't call it, but Josh saves it. Throws it to Randle. He passes up to Brunson. Sprints up the court.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah, I know exactly.
Yeah, sprints up the court. Randle dunks it, and we're in Barclays Center, and the crowd is just going absolutely wild. That clip when it was national, and everything, and just like, yo, the Knicks have a team. This is it right here. Randle, he proved everybody wrong. Even during that 21-22 season, I was right by Randle, but I did give up on Randle at the beginning of last season. I texted my dad. It was in school. I was like,
yeah,
you know, Randle, we might have to move on. And my dad was like, yeah, I was just gonna let you call it. But even when I gave up, he came back. So, you know, I just feel like, you know, he was just a great Knick, and I might still buy his jersey. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying me a Julius jersey.
Yeah.
Because I missed out on getting a Quickly jersey before we just shipped them off. So I definitely have to, even though I didn't get a Randle jersey before we shipped them off, I can't miss out on the opportunity because that was my guy. So I gotta show love. But that's gonna do it for this episode. This was much needed, a little overdue, but I'm glad we were able to, you know, talk about, you know, just this Cat Randle trade, because it was definitely shook up the NBA world a little bit, which is nice. You know, it's nice that the Knicks at least get to, you know, be a part of those moves where they're shaking up the world. People are talking about us. So, I mean, you know, at least we're still, you know, we're making waves. We'll see how everything pans out. And it'll definitely, you know, the season just got a lot more interesting. I can say that for sure. But that is going to do it for us three. For Reek and Jai, I'm D, and we will catch you guys at the next episode.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, yeah, you should just be able to, I don't know if you can stop the recording now, but yeah, whenever we get off